So for the very first, I'm going to start with the oral health phenomena in Indonesia, which is the background of our candy research. So, based on the survey, it is stated that oral and dental disease is ranked the first among the 10 most annoying diseases in Indonesia for the Indonesian society. But somehow, unfortunately, awareness of Indonesian against oral health is still very poor. It can be seen from the number of the sufferer, which reached 90% population in Indonesia, and even more than 50 hours school time has lost due to oral and dental disease. Yes, the prevalence of this disease to the children is very significant, still very significant. Next. But however, it can lead to many diseases like pharyngitis, tonsillitis, even to heart disease. So we can conclude that this disease even is not maybe not really that deadly, but it's also quite considerably dangerous also. Next. And moving from that point of view, I will move to the propolis itself. So the first basic question, what is propolis? I'm sure most of you here already have heard about it before. So propolis is basically a honey beehive that contains a lot of bioactive component, and we have to extract it first to get the pure component. And the miracle is it has antioxidant, antibacterial, antifungal, antivirus, and anti-inflammation activity in one package. That's what I call as miracle. And so, what innovative idea that we can make from this both phenomena? So, from the oral and dental disease phenomena and also the miracle of propolis, what can we make from that? So, this is our idea and our proposed idea. Propolis hard candy. So it would be like hard candy from propolis as nutraceutical to tackle the oral and dental disease in Indonesia. We already have made it, like in this picture. So it will be like a hard candy. It's like shiny and hard candy, like maybe you already have eaten before. And why we have to make it as hard candy? The first thing is, I'm sure most people in this world, maybe includes you also, will like candy, right? And it will be like we can make our children go to the dentist by just chewing the gum, by just chewing the candy. So it's like we don't have to trick our children to go to the dentist, right? And beside of that, the making of it is quite simple, and also the durability of this hard candy is nice. Next. And this is the production process of this propolis hard candy. So this is the blood flow diagram. First is mixing of raw material, which contains of sucrose, glucose, and this water, I'm sorry. And after that, after it's already homogenized, we have to make, we have to cook it with 142 degrees Celsius heat, and after that, we add the propolis addition after the dough getting colder, because it will, if it's too hot, the propolis will be disrupted. And after that, shaping of this dough with confectionery machine. And the last is, we will produce the candy product that each of the candy will have a 4 gram mass. And this is a little bit of mass balance of this propolis hard candy. Yeah. And then for the next, I will give to Yuki, and she will explain to you about this propolis hard candy testing and also the economic feasibility of this candy product. Please.
Okay, thank you. Now we move on to the propolis candy testing. This testing is aimed to determine the quality of the candy that we made before. So we've done several testing here. The first is physical and chemical properties testing, including water content testing, ash content testing, and organoleptic testing. Now, water content testing is aimed to determine the texture and structure of the candy, and ash content testing is to determine parameter of nutrition value that contain based on mineral and anorganic matter that the candy contain. Also, the organoleptic testing is the test to determine some aspect of food, whether this candy can be accepted in by consumer or not. We take the aspect for taste, color, and texture. And then we done the bacteria testing. We did it in two methods. The first method is paper disc diffusion method. This method we will see the inhibition of growth of mouse bacteria by calculate the diameter of clear zone of paper disc. The second method is total plate count. We will see inhibition of growth, the microbe growth by in several number of dilution sample. And the result of this testing is our candy water content is ranging from 0.15 to 0.25, and this number is within the standard of SNI, Standard National Indonesia, that states that the hard candy water content is not more than 3.5% mass fraction. And the ash content of our candy is ranging from 0.02 to 0.1%, and this is within the Standard National Indonesia that the ash content is not more than 2% mass fraction. And this is the result of organoleptic testing. We actually spread the questionnaire. We evaluate the texture, for texture, taste, and color of various candy, various combination hard candy. And this is the overall score for the candy, and we can see that local propolis candy that contain local propolis and honey is most people prefer this candy. And this the result of antibacterial activity. In the first method, with paper disc diffusion test, we can see the clear zone diameter. The biggest clear zone diameter belong to hard candy with Brazil propolis and honey. And the second method shows also the most inhibition belong to hard candy with Brazil propolis and honey. Based on organoleptic testing, hard candy with propolis, local propolis is more prevalent. This is the result of paper disc test. The first one, this hard candy with Brazil propolis, and the left one is hard candy with local propolis. The next is economic evaluation. This is the feasibility study of the candy to see how feasible the product can be commercialized in Indonesia. We calculate several parameters to see the feasibility. The first is total capital investment. It's including the equipment purchase cost, site building cost, construction, regulation, and working capital. The second is operation cost, including raw material, plant utilities, labor cost, maintenance costs, waste management, marketing. Unit cost is unit cost, and the last is profitability parameter, NPV year, and also the payback period. We get some assumption in calculate the feasibility study to calculate the profitability analysis. We have to determine the production capacity first. So we assume that this candy is the same with oral consumption in Indonesia. So we got the number of 150 million candy annually that we will produce. This is the summary of economic calculation. We get total capital investment about 1.2 million US dollar. From this calculation, we see that this product is feasible to develop in Indonesia. The last is conclusion. We got three conclusions here. The first is propolis hard candy is proved to have an ability to inhibit multibacterial growth. And the second is the organoleptic test proved that our propolis hard candy is well accepted by the market. And the third is propolis hard candy is proved to be feasible to commercial practice. And that's all from us. Thank you for attention.
If you have any question, just please just apply to us.
This is Septian, majoring on dentistry. I won't ask about the economic point of view, but I'm asking about, this is the main reason why using propolis is because the antibacterial agent, right? And it will be the same case with Listerine, betadine, etc. Because no dentist will recommend that for maintaining oral health. Because why? Because when we inhibit another bacteria, it will increase the fuming, unless you could destroying the Candida albicans itself. Because why? Because when you eliminating all the bacteria, it will create the candidiasis, which is the white plaque all over the mouth. So it is it's not really a solution. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So we know that that's one of our point of view that we have to solve this after this, and so this is like the preliminary study of this propolis hard candy for the antibacterial uses, and we already have tested it with the cooperation with the faculty of dentistry of our university also, and here we can see the potential of the antibacterial. But yes, I also know about the candidiasis of the effect of the like the chain effect of the destroying the bacterial ecology in our mouth. But after this research, we also want to develop our research by adjusting the portion for one people that how much candy of per day that should be consumed for each person in one day. And actually, we also propose this candy not just for like the usual use, but we are focusing on the sufferer of the oral and dental disease. Based on that, we know that the ecology of the mouth must be majority populated by the bacteria, right? Not the fungi itself. It's like when we got the oral disease, of course the bacteria will dominate our ecological mouth, something like that. And that's what we want to target. That this candy is supposed to target, like that. Thank you.
I wanted to ask about when you get the additional kind of substance, what is it?
Alzheimer. Invention of Alzheimer vaccine as new protection for Alzheimer disease in elderly as best investment in community by using herpes-simplex virus type 1, virus-like particles as amyloid beta antibody inductor via biomolecular approach. And my team consists of me, Dedi Septian, my partner Trisa Rangga, and Yosefin Adisti, unfortunately unable to come. And it has been supervised by Professor Dr. M. Rashid MS and Dr. Sri Sunarti SPPD. And what is Alzheimer? Alzheimer is disease of neurodegenerative disorder and the most common cause of dementia in elderly, or maybe we call it like loss of memory and loss of memory. And how about the Alzheimer incidence? It has been reported that 616,000 Alzheimer patients in Indonesia, which is mean 1 from 5 elderly got suffer from Alzheimer. And it has been predicted at 2050 it will be 4 times higher. So, Alzheimer disease is also a silent killer. And let me tell you how the Alzheimer disease has been developed. As we could see over here is the cell membrane, and each membrane have the APP molecule, and those APP molecule will be cutting down by the enzyme and then creating beta amyloid, and then beta amyloid itself will be gather to be one and creating a plaque because of that plaque of beta amyloid plaque, it will creating the oxidative damage, which is causing the destruction of neuronal cell. Because those oxidative damage increasing after a beta amyloid plaque, it will decreasing the memory and decreasing the quality of life. Because why? Because we forgetting about stuff, and then our quality of life will be decreasing as well. And how about the prevention and therapy right now? First of all, how about the drugs? There is also a therapy right now using vitamin C as antioxidant to prevent the oxidative damage has been caused by beta amyloid, but it's also induced insomnia, loss of appetite, sort of effect, and not potent. And how about the latest trial vaccine? First of all, it created inflammation, which is causing the meningoencephalitis, and it also has a weak titer. And how about the inhibit accumulation without harmful effect? First of all, we think about the vaccine that create antibody that made from herpes simplex virus type 1 and combined with virus-like particle as the adjuvant. And then we created AISCT. And we want to tell you about AISCT in 3 ways. First of all, it was what, why, and how. What is AISCT? AISCT is vaccine that made from herpes simplex virus type 1 and virus-like particle and directly bind to amyloid precursor protein, so it can induce high titer antibody towards A beta. Because why? Because the amyloid precursor protein is the one who will be the base components of beta amyloid itself. And why we chose herpes simplex virus type 1? Because first of all, is this the only virus that could bind the amyloid precursor protein because it has glycoprotein beta and glycoprotein delta, which is glycoprotein beta is also directly bind to amyloid precursor protein, and the glycoprotein delta that will bind to the neuronal cell, so it won't misdirect to another organ. And why we choose virus-like particle? But first of all, it's because non-infectious part of virus and can induce high titer antibody toward amyloid precursor protein without activating inflammation, which is via the independent mechanism. And how we make it? First of all, we make the VLP from glycoprotein beta and delta of HSV1. We're using glycoprotein beta and delta and put it into baculovirus vector, and then we got the recombinant protein induced with HAK293 to get the bind with the amyloid precursor protein, and then centrifuge at 300 for 10 minutes and take the supernatant part and then purified with gradient sucrose, and then we got the AISCT itself. And how it works? First of all, AISCT will directly bind to amyloid precursor protein, and because it binds amyloid protein, and we think, and our leukocyte will think it's a strange object or outside object, it will creating antibody titer itself and decreasing the A beta because it's inducing the high titer antibody, it will decreasing A beta accumulation. And what is differences between this vaccine and the latest vaccine, which is causing the meningoencephalitis or inflammation in neuronal? And because the AN 1792 is lead inflammation, it is the name of the latest vaccine. It's depending on, it's also activating TH1, which is activating macrophage inflammation mediator, and it's different if we are using virus-like particles. It's bypass the TH1, and then it's also it's rightly activating the beta cell and then plasma cell and then creating the antibody. And how about AISCT versus previous prevention and therapy? First of all, conclusion about the AISCT is cost-effective, low or minimal effect, and without inducing inflammation, and long effect and high titer antibody. And because the other previous one is a lot more expensive and lower antibody titer, which is mean we should inject the vaccine over and over again to maintain the titer. And it has been, right now we are having administrative, we are currently on administrative with Bio Farma to ongoing this project. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Is there any question?
Thank you for your hands off. they are targeting many targets, maybe to the tall people rectangles or any other targets. Which do you think the best? We just focus on APP in the beginning, or we should go into the end product of these pathogenesis? Yeah. That's my first question.
Okay, thank you for the question. Because the latest trial vaccine is also targeting about the amyloid precursor protein, but unfortunately they use the wrong adjuvant, because that adjuvant is inducing the T cell and then creating the meningoencephalitis. So actually we just changed the adjuvant, and because we found about the virus-like particles which is made from the virus itself, so we try to look over and over about which virus is the only one who could bind with the neuronal cell. So we found it and then take it. And the only reason why this HV1 is not dangerous for the other neuronal cell is because we take the viral part. So we just only use the glycoprotein beta and delta to initiate the beta cell. So the beta cell will mark that one is the strength object, so it could induce the antibody titer. Why we choose about the amyloid precursor protein? First of all, because it doesn't have any use on our neuronal cell, and the second one is because it doesn't have any use, so we just choose it rightly to prevent the Alzheimer itself. So if we choose to attacking on the A beta, and then that's just mean we just cure it without preventing it.
Because the reason why I asked this question, because you just mentioned one candidate vaccine, AN1792. But I highlighted here that there are many candidates of vaccine so far, and they are targeting other targets rather than the APP, as you mentioned in the study, right? Have you compared your the AN1792 with other vaccine candidates? Have you compared it?
Because the only research that we got is because this vaccine is the one who get into the clinical phase. So we talk about it. This is the nearest way to get true vaccine for Alzheimer. So what is the disadvantage of this vaccine is because it creating meningoencephalitis. So why don't we just make the same vaccine, but it doesn't induce meningoencephalitis? So that will be a solution. So we are perfecting the AN1792.
You already do this basis on the beginning of this one to use the cell line on the
Actually, right now we are waiting for the cell line. And about AN1972 is on phase 2 clinical trial, and it induced meningoencephalitis. So we just changed the adjuvant.
But there's a little correction, because there is also another vaccine candidate, CA106, that has already been in third phase of clinical trial. Yeah, you should check that.
Still any other question? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I hope your proposal get accepted, so we can do this trial and have the new vaccine for Alzheimer.
Good afternoon. My name is Hulfa Abkori, and this is my friend Muhammad Vicky Indra. We are from Airlangga University of Surabaya. Okay, and this is the background of our research. Rabies cases in Indonesia still high, especially we know from the WHO data at 2007 that the rabies cases in Indonesia still high, especially in 2022 province, and the higher mortality rate is in Sulawesi, Kalimantan, Java, and Bali. And the rabies cases is not only cause the death, but also can cause the psychological effect. The handling bit by the dog. Until now, the researcher used the anti-rabies serum hyperimmune produced in hers, but the weaknesses of the serum is less applied of the practical in less animal welfare, and the second cost hike in the productivity, and the third can in the long term can amyloidosis in its horse. But the alternative solution of our research is we use the egg yolk to find the antibody to overcome the rabies cases. And the big question of this research is the egg yolk can find the antibody, and the purpose of this research is to find the antibody in the egg yolk. And this is the material of our research: 10-layer strain of Lohmann brown, adjuvant fern complete and incomplete in ICL physiology and antigen rabies virus. And we use the chloroform for extraction, and also we use the washing buffer and etc. for the ELISA test. The method of our research: first, we doing the immunization in the chicken, and the first immunization we use complete fern adjuvant, and second immunization for booster 1 and 2 we use the incomplete fern adjuvant. And every week we collect the egg to get the egg yolks and the serum to find the antibody, and we do the extraction egg yolk and serum, and after that we doing the indirect ELISA test for find the antibody. And result and discussion: for the first week, the titer anti-serum of egg yolk and serum is 0, but the next week we can find here in the 4th week the highest titer antibody of serum and egg yolk. Also, based on the result of testing which conducted on this research, so that immunization by layer using the rabies vaccine can trigger the formation of antibody, either antibody in serum and egg yolk. And the graph of this research can show that the titer-specific antibody against antigen which form in egg yolk relatively lower than titer serum antibody. And this is the mechanism of transfer involved in specific receptor in membrane egg yolk, which possible specific transfer at total AUI subpopulation in maternal circulation system. So the benefits of using anti-rabies egg: the first, we can product this serum by low cost, and the second, can easy in insulation and preparation, and the third, this is can make our product very high and fast. And the conclusion: the anti-rabies antibody from egg yolk has a fairly high immunogenicity, so it is possible to use a serotherapy agent. Thank you.
Is there any question?
Okay, thank you. My name is Ricky from Ireland University. I want to ask about the test. The antibody already tested in the maybe in fever test or example in human. Thank you.
I think this our next project. So we will try to test it in mice, rabbit, and rat. Yes.
Is there any other questions?
rabies. And maybe AISCT have special substance that it can be anti-rabies. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. This research is basic research. We find basically antibody for rabies. We saw to find antibody rabies egg yolk and by chicken, and then
and the antibody of rabies cases that injection to the mother can also find in the next produce in small chicken. Okay.
What immunization we use to produce what? My name is Aji. I'm from here, Asian University. May I know what immunization you use to produce your antibody?
Another, please.
What immunogen you use to produce your antibody, and how many concentration for each immunization?
we use immunogen virus rabies inactive, and then this concentration.
So you use the whole.
Yes, I use the full rabies virus inactive.
The whole gene? The whole
No.
of virus? Is there a specific sequence of the virus?
Sorry, I forget it for this concentration in concentration sequencing in immunogen.
Okay, and how many concentration of immunogen for each immunization?
Oh, we this concentration 5 milli, 5 milli in the chicken every week.
How many percent? Pardon?
5 milli.
5 million?
And every week only for
How many times? Every week.
One times every week.
One time every week.
Yes.
And is that enough to produce good titer of antibody?
I think that's not enough to high titer antibody because
but this is enough to we can find the what is the egg yolk have in serum and antibody we can use for this cases.
Is there any other question? Thank you very much. Okay, so we can use the egg yolk as the vaccine based on their presentation. Hope it can work. So we can move to another.
And good afternoon. My name is Zahrina Marina, and he is my partner Ricky Siswanto. And today, this afternoon, we will present our paper entitled Wound Dressing Membrane from Channels Bone Gelatin Extract aided with banana stem sub-latex. And we are from Biomedical Engineering, Erlangga University, Surabaya, Indonesia. Next. Okay, this is our background. First, I want to give you a fact, our audience, that in Gresik, Indonesia, the waste of channels industry reaches 6 tons each day. But unfortunately, the waste of channels is only used for the manufacture of animal feed, so that the economic value is very small. Next. And in medical world, wounds are usually only covered with gauze or cotton, which are often left behind in the wound and later cause infections to the patient. And the final, gelatin derived from collagen is the major component of human skin. And I want to give you the fact again that right now there are many factories, there are many industry that is developed in medical, have been developed gelatin as the main composition of the cosmetical and medical product to make our skin grow nicer and smoother. Next. And this is banana latex. According to the preliminary study, is claimed to be effective in accelerating wound healing process because it contains something that we will explain later. No. And based on Listianti 2006, banana stem sub-latex proved that accelerates rehabilitation, neovascularization, fibroblast, and infiltration of our inflammation cell. And then banana stem sub-latex contains saponin, anthraquinone, and quinone as antimicrobials. And lignin can promote the absorption of saponin, anthraquinone, and quinone so that it can be used as wound healing, especially for burn and contusion wound. And also used as anti-inflammation in our wound healing process. And then there are some materials that we use. The first, of course, you can see channels bone gelatin extract. That is the waste of channels industry process. And the second is banana stem sub-latex, of course. And the third is chloric acid, 5% only. And then the last is CMCNA. CMCNA is a chemical product that we were used to transform the material into gel. And then there are 3 methods. I divided the methods into 3 steps. The first is procurement of banana stem sub-latex. The second is extraction channels bone gelatin. And the third is processing the wound dressing itself. And it is the process, the first step to derive banana stem sub-latex to get an extract. The first is we must stem and cut and mash. The stem was cut and mashed with the blender. And then we use the vacuum pump, the vacuum pump, to get the extract, the latex extract only. It's just very little. And then the latex was processed with an oven under 18 degrees Celsius for 1 day. And then the latex extract was then mixed with CMGNA to transform into gel latex. And then this is the second step that I will explain. The first, we must decreasing in order to lose fat of channels bone. And the second, bone, we will cut to a size of 2 until 5 centimeters only. And the third, we must demineralize using chloric acid 5% for 48 hours. And then we will get ocean after that process. Okay, and then the ocean was washed during aqueduct until it reached a normal pH 7. And then the ocean was filtrated using a paper filtrate. And then the filtrate was processed using evaporator to make it condense. And then the gas filtrate, finally, we mix with TMTNA to make the gel gelatin. Okay, next. This is the processing of bone dressing. The composition variation of gelatin gel compared with banana stem sub-latex were 3 compare 5, 5 compare 3, and the final is 4 compare 4. But in here, we make 4 preparat, and the one is control negative preparat. And the material was attached on medical screen. And then next, the material will frozen under 18 degrees Celsius to exterminate the microorganism. We call it deep freezer. And the material was then dried using lyophilizer. And then this is the first step that I've explained to you when I mask banana stem cell latex with blender. Yes, with a usual way. And then that is the result when banana stem cell latex before I mix it with CMCNA to transform it into a gel. Next. Okay, for the next, my partner will explain to you.
Okay, thank you. I would like to continue the presentation. That the explanation before that the step of to make a wound dressing from Canis canis and added with stem cell latex is from the Canis canis bone. The next step is the first step to cut. For the cut the Canis canis bone, we will fresh it and refresh it by water, and then we get an evaporation of Canis canis gelatin extract. And the next step is after we have extraction of the Canis canis bone, and we have the stem cell latex too. We add and we mix together, and the material was attached on medical screen. And then before that, the banana stem cell latex and addition with the Canis canis extraction of Canis canis bone, we mix with CMCNA, sodium CNC, and then Canis canis bone, the solution of the extraction of the mixture, we put in the sterile gauze and in the some plate, like something like the picture, and then we go to the next step. That's our method. The first is freezing in the freezer. It's about in 80 degrees Celsius, minus 80 degrees Celsius. That's to exterminate the microorganism. And then the next step is drying. That using lyophilizer. Both of these method, both of these process, it's about 24 hours. Yeah. And then result and discussion of this sample, we have do the study, in vitro study by AISCT, branch motility test, the in vitro study, and using Artemia salina to check the material's toxicity. And then yeah, this is the table of the number of leaf larvae and the number of the larvae. We shown by the table, there are 3 comparisons. The first is 3 to 5, the second is 4 to 4, and 5 to 3. The table shown that in 3 to 5, number of leaf larvae is about 100%. But in the 4 to 4, the number of leaf larvae is 0%. And then the result of a discussion of histopathology and anatomy. That's one of our tests to know about the wound healing. To know the wound healing process, we use histopathology anatomy test. And then the table shown that in comparison of 3 to 5, the epithelium cells started to close perfectly, and 4 to 4 comparison, reepithelialization wasn't seen, and 5 to 3, reepithelialization occurred despite the imperfect form, and then the control sample reepithelialization was seen. And then in vivo study we use Ms. musculus, and the method is used the pathology and anatomy test, and the objective of this experiment to figure out the influence of the material in wound healing process in the Ms. musculus. And then this one is the picture of the control sample. Yeah, and then the next, we can shown by the picture. We can look at one of the tissue, and then this one is result of histopathology anatomy, the comparison of 5 to 3, and the next one is the picture of histopathology of comparison 4 to 4. And then the last one is the result of histopathology anatomy test in comparison 3 to 5. And then conclusion of our research about wound dressing from banana stem cell latex addition with the callus bone extraction. The first is the epithelialization occurred very well in the ratio, the comparison at 3 to 5. And then the epithelialization was not visible, was not seen in 4 to 4 between gelatin over banana latex, and then the epithelialization at comparison 5 to 3 imperfectly occurred, and then no visible epithelialization in the control of mice. And the best ratio to promote the epithelialization at the comparison of 3 to 5. And then the conclusion of our research. The first is the material is non-toxic material, and then the second was there was still part of the membrane attached to the gauze wound which didn't dissolve in water, and the last one is in the future studies dimethyl sulfur oxide should be used in this all solution to make membranes dissolve completely. Okay, that's all of our presentation. Thank you so very much.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Muhammad Iqbal from the Perasaan Engineering Universitas Indonesia. Thank you for the presentation. What I want to ask is first is about I just want to know about how could you get the idea to combine the cannus spondylitis extract with banana stem cell latex, because so what do you want to get from both of these substances there? Like what do you want? What do you expect that will be achieved when you combine that both of these substances? And do you already know what's happening? Why the comparison when this cannus spondylitis extract is more than the stem cell latex? It will be not really that effective. Have you known about it for the questions? And for the third question is about have you compared it with maybe like the other material that's maybe quite same using like chitosan or something like that? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, for the first why we compare gelatin and then banana stem cell latex, we have mentioned before that in here the two materials have two different of utilize. Banana stem cell latex can accelerate the wound healing process, just accelerate. Yes, it's as the main medicine. But I've mentioned too that in gelatin extract. Chanus bone gelatin extract, because it's our main component of our skin. So in here, I hope that the wound that has been accelerated to heal, it can be more smoother. I mean like that. And the second, please.
Have you now the answer why when the comparison between the cannus spondylitis extract compared to the banana stem cell latex reach the 5 to 3 is not really that effective to work on covering your wound?
Okay. It's in here. Our PView is only for accelerating wound healing. So the main view is wound healing accelerating, not the smoother. Maybe for the smoother skin, for the compost of gelatin extract, we will study later and not now. But in here right now, why we say that 3 compare 5 is the best, because in here the point of view is wound healing accelerate.
So would it be like the inhibition from the gelatin extract to the banana stem cell latex? Because of that, the work is not really that quite good when the bone gelatin extract is much more.
Yeah, actually about the the comparison of 5 to 3 is the best. I guess is the best or the greatest the greatest result of this research, because one of our reason is about the gelatin. Gelatin is derived from collagen. Collagen is one of the contents of the skin. So I guess collagen type 1. I guess so we use the gelatin to make some addition, some wound dressing to make to promote wound healing, something like that. Yeah.
If I do not wrong, you mentioned about stem cell before. Yes. No.
Stem cell.
Oh no. Okay. In here, why we choose gelatin and not the other material is because in the third slide. Yes, we want to utilize the waste of the industry, of the big industry in our resident 6 tons per day, and it's waste, and it's disturb the society, very disturb. So we think in here how to make the waste can be very useful, like that. Why we choose that, and it's free to get.
Sorry, what is
Chanos in bahasa Indonesia is bandeng. Yes, otak-otak industri.
So fortunately, I'm from Gresik too, so I know all about the waste of cows is abundant. So a lot of the bone is only maybe through the weather to the garbage, something like that. So it doesn't have more value of that. But we know about the contents of the bone of the fish that is can extract to be gelatin. So that's a big value to in the medical part, especially something like that. That's why our idea is to make a research something like this. Okay, thank you.
Daddy from Brawijaya, I would like to ask, is it possible to combine chanos and banana, but for oral dose? Oral dose, not.
In here, we purpose is for skin care. Yes, wound dressing, skin care, or for maybe burn wound, burn wound and contusion wound, like that, or maybe the post-operation wound. If we have been post-operative, maybe there is some wound that it can't be healing very well. And in here, gelatin, we hope that gelatin can solve the problem.
So the gelatin, you can use gelatin for oral dose, right? It's only on the skin.
Yes, on the skin. Yes, the product is purpose is just on the skin.
I have one more question, sorry.
Okay.
Have you calculated the production time of this wound dressing product? Have you calculated the production time? I mean, I just want to know about maybe how many hours that you need to get one batch of this production process.
It's approximately maybe about 5 until a week, maybe. Yeah, because the first, 5 days until a week, something like that. So because after we have tried sample, we have delivered the sample to Batam to make a radiation to gamma radiation to make it sterile. So that's why that's the reason why it's about a week. So it's very little long time. Yeah.
One more. Is there any systemic effect or any other side effect on using that wound dressing?
There are no side or systemic effect because what it have proved with BSLT in vitro test that yes, under less than 10% that larva died, so it can say it safe, like that. So there are no side effect because it's a natural material resources.
No, I mean on your in vivo study. You've mentioned you've done it on in vivo study, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Is there any side effect or systemic effect on the mouse itself?
No.
Oh.
No. Yes, it healing completely. Yes.
What's your question?
Sure. I just again from Jamie. So I just want to know how did you do the wound examination? Because did you do some wound scoring, or you just take a photo shot? Because in my opinion, commonly when you go into journal, you will see that those others will do some wound healing assay or wound scoring to make sure that your treatment is significantly different with the control. So just please explain anything.
Okay. We haven't done it quantitatively, but just qualitatively. Next plan, we will do it. Like maybe the counting of epithelialization cell and fibroblast cell and etc. Okay, thank you for your attention. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. I think it's very creative product, so we can use the waste of the canvas for the wool. Okay, let's remove.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Weni. I am from School of Nursing, Faculty of Medicine, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Yogyakarta. Now I would like to present my result of our study about the effect of menarche smart card on the female elementary school student for increasing knowledge and body image facing menarche in Jetis, Yogyakarta. Okay, for introduction, adolescence is one of human being developed phase which bring many changes. During age 10 until 19 years old, human being prepare to matureness. The previous study in China showed that menarche age in female adolescents is 11.67 years old. In Indonesia too, the same one. On that age, most of the female adolescents are still on the elementary school. Having no prior knowledge about the menstruation, which makes them unprepared to face the menarche. The study has aimed to identify the effect of menarche smart card on the female elementary school student to increasing knowledge and body image in facing the menarche. This is a community research. Okay, this is a phase of menstruation, material and methods. This is a experimental study using a pre-post group design. Population female student in 14 elementary school in Jetis district Yogyakarta. We choose from the female student grade 5 in this school, and then for the selection we help by teacher in each school. Okay, the instrument of the study is a menarche smart card that we I developed with my student. The instrument to measure a female student knowledge and the questionnaire to measure the female student body image in facing menarche. This is an analysis that we use. Okay, the characteristic respondent, the majority of student in 11 years old, about 70.6%, and the majority not yet already get menstruation, about 63.3%. Days of menstruation, majority in 11 years old, and the average age of menstruation is earlier, 74 years old. Okay, the table 2 about the effect of menarche smart card on the female student knowledge about the menarche. The knowledge increase in pre-test and post-test. We can look about the increase point with the p-value 0.000. There are some studies that support our result of research. Okay, the next table, the effect of menarche smart card on female student body image about menarche. In pre-test and post-test increase too, with
p-value 0.00. Okay, this is there some study that support our study too. The conclusion of our study is health education using menarche smart card as a media, both in fact to increase knowledge and body image of female student in elementary school district, Jetis district area. Okay. Now, this is our menarche smart card. Okay. The games have a similarity with a Monopoly game, you know not, but the square in here give knowledge and support the body image student to facing the menarche. Okay, this is our documentation when the research is conducted. Okay, this is one of my student. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Is there any question?
My name is from Asia University. First, I would like to know about the smart card. Did you create it by yourself? And also, what's the content of the smart card? Is it some kind of information or just kind of questions and with the answer?
Yeah.
And for the second question is about, you said that from this research, you said that there is increasing of body image. What do you mean by body image and how it can be measured of the body image? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the question. These games we developed with me and our students from School of Nursing, and the games like this, like Monopoly games, but the content of the square is knowledge and how we support the body image when she facing a menarche. The question about body image in our questionnaire, if you have a change of your body when he face a menarche. For example, she have a big breast. How should he do? How should she do to facing this difference from before? Okay.
So how do you measure for the pre-test and post-test? Based on the questionnaire or based on
I use questionnaire.
Oh, the questionnaire you develop it by yourself.
Yeah.
So the questionnaire you develop it by yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
For the first, I would like to say that you are very creative, created this kind of card, and one more question. You did the pre-test and the post-test, and the pre-test you measured the knowledge of the students. I just curious, is there any lack of knowledge of the student? I mean, the pre-test is your baseline. Were they knowledge the baseline? Is it enough for them, or they need more knowledge for the age of the before menarche?
Okay. From the pre-test point, they must be get more information about the menarche. Because from their school, only limited information that can explanation about the facing the menarche. Okay, thank you.
Any other question?
Yeah. You thought that you developed the skill by yourself, and then could you please explain what about the reliability and validity? How you?
Okay. I'm sorry, I forget about the point about reliability and validity, but is valid and reliable when we test with the statistic test. But the point I am forget. Okay.
Okay. Is there any explanation why you don't use the control group, because it is effective if you just use one group? Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry because in this presentation I only just finish until this phase, because actually in our study I also compare with the other methods of health education. The first group, control with regular intervention from the school, and then the second group we give a short animation movie about the menarche, and the third group we use a smart card menarche, and I will compare the effective methods that can help student to facing the menarche. I'm sorry, maybe the next presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I think it's a good trend for test result. But I want to, would you please go back to the result?
Thank you.
The number of the result. Do you still remember? Do you have the number of score?
The number
Because you use a questionnaire, right? So you should got the score.
Yeah.
Score. Pre and post test.
Yeah.
The exact score.
Exact score.
What is the maximum score, the minimum score, and the mean of pre-test group score and
Right, it is.
yeah,
Yes.
so this is the mean,
Mean, okay.
82.9 and 85, because in my opinion it seems not so much different, but when we check the p-value it's very significant. That's only my point. Can you explain this? Thank you.
Yes, the result of the statistic analysis is p-value is 0.00. Is this is
how many samples?
131
okay.
students.
What kind of statistical analysis did you use?
Because my data is not distributed normally.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation. I think from the presentation we can learn by it's fun. So let's we move to our last presentation. Please come to the stage, Siwi Sri Widowati and Liu Jun Chang with the title Prevalence and Correlates of Suicidal Behavior Among Students in China and Taiwan.
Thank
Thank you very much. This is the last presentation and I will present my research, my study titled Prevalence and Correlates of Suicide Behavior Among Students in China and Taiwan. It was written by Chen Chang Liu, my professor, and me, C.V. Sri Widowati from Healthcare Administration Department, Asia University. The background. Nowadays, suicide is a major problem worldwide, especially in Asian countries. As the data from the WHO state that 60% of the worldwide suicide committed in Asia. And the suicide rate in Asia is 2.12 by 0.6 per 100,000 people. And WHO estimated also that there is an increasing in the incidence of suicide by 60% by 2020 years. Why background? In China, the most crowded population country in the Asian continent, China accounts for more than 30% of the world suicide. And suicide has become the fourth most important public health in China, suggested by WHO because of the disability-adjusted life years loss. And Taiwan, the country that is very related in China because they have a close kinship. Suicide is the second most common cause of death of youth in Taiwan. The suicide rate is 6.21 per 100,000 people. And WHO also stated that the prevention of the suicide has not been adequately addressed in Asia due to the socio-economic, cultural, and religious factors. And there is also limited information about the correlates of suicide in China and Taiwan. As we know that we want to prevent the suicide, we have to know the cause or the correlates of the suicide. And China and Taiwan, they share the same culture and religion. So we can say that these two countries, they have similarities. That's why the purpose of this study is to investigate the prevalence and the correlates of suicide in these two countries. The materials and method, I used data from the WHO Global School-Based Student Health Survey, GSHS, conducted in China in 2003 and in Taiwan, the same questionnaire, the same survey in 2007. So the total sample was 11,729 students. That is consists of the 9,000 sample of China and 2,714 from Taiwan. So WHO and the GSHS is a survey that is used questionnaire split to the student in the junior middle school, grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. And we used two suicide behaviors related questions from the questionnaire titled of suicide ideation and suicide planning. And also for the correlates, we use 5 social support related questions: bullied past 12 months, loneliness, sadness and helpless, sleeplessness, and smoking. So the analysis, we use binary logistic regression using SPSS program version 15. Here is the result. The sample distribution, we can see that from the sex, male and female, China and Taiwan, in China there are more female compared with Taiwan. And from the grade China, there are more students in grade 1 and grade 2. And for the bullied activity, we can see here, bullied activity is definition is student that has been bullied by the friend. We can see here from the odd ratio, China, the bullied, the student that have been bullied higher, really higher compared with Taiwan, 3 times higher. And for the loneliness, sadness, sleeplessness, and smoking activity, we can see that China is lower compared with Taiwan. For the prevalence of suicide ideations, because before firstly I would like to say you that in this factor variable I determined the correlates of suicide ideation and the suicide plan. So there are 2 different variables. From the suicide ideation, we can see from the prevalence China and Taiwan. Between China and Taiwan, the highest in China for the prevalence. In China, the highest in the Urumqi, but when we compare with the Taiwan, the highest in Taiwan.
in the national level. But in the China, just in the China, in the 4 cities in China, the highest in the Urumqi. Urumqi is the west, a city in the west part of the China, the rural area compared with the 3 other cities. And when it comes to suicide plan, we can see China is higher compared with Taiwan. It's maybe we can say that we suggested that the coping mechanism they're different between Taiwan and China. The Taiwan is higher coping mechanism compared with China because we can see the Taiwan the higher of suicide ideation but the lower of the suicide plan. And the correlates of suicide ideation in China. From this result, we can see that the significant variable just gender, sex. From the unadjusted analysis, it means adjusted analysis is one factor compared with the another factor. We can say that age, gender, grade, BMI, and other factors, they have relationship, they have significant effect to the suicide ideation. But when it adjusted with the other factors, we can say that just grade, gender, bullied activity, loneliness, sadness and hopeless, and insomnia and smoking, that they have significant effect to suicide ideation. And from suicide ideation in China, is it the similar finding to Taiwan? When it adjusted to the another factors, just gender, bullied activities, loneliness, sadness and insomnia and smoking, that they have effect in factor to suicide ideation and suicide plan. But when we can see from the spending also, the difference between China and Taiwan just in the smoking activity. In China, the higher smoking make a student the higher of suicide the student that is smoking, that is higher suicide ideation also and suicide plan. So smoking is like a risk factor for the suicide ideation and the suicide plan. But in Taiwan, is it the opposite? The student that is smoke, the lower of risk of they have developed suicide behavior or suicide ideation and suicide plan. So it's need further investigation for the smoking. Okay, for the correlation between suicide ideation and suicide plan, we can see that students that they have suicide ideation is high risk to develop suicide plan. We can see here even the odds ratio is higher, 27 by this analysis. 27 times have risk to develop suicide plan of students that having suicide ideation. Here is the Urumqi has the highest prevalence, as I explained before, because it's more rural compared with the other cities. And the female had higher risk to have suicide ideation and suicide plan. Why? Because maybe it's suggested that the tradition of the China and Taiwan, they put on female result in introvert and machistic personality that affect their ability to cope with stress and high suicide risk. Compared to China also, Taiwan had the higher risk of suicide ideation but lower of suicide plan. What I explained to you that may be different coping mechanism. And for the mental health difficulties such as being bullied, depression and smoking were significant risk factors, or we can say that they are correlates of suicide ideation and suicide plans for students in China and Taiwan. So this research has a limitation. The first, it is kind of cross-sectional design, so I cannot make the causal interference. I mean, which one is cause, which one is effect. I cannot make it. And because the data limitation also make me cannot investigate another factors or correlates of suicide plan and suicide ideations. And this study also did not include adolescents who do not attend the school because it's just one short time. Okay, for the title first, the correlates. You said how many times I discussed? Yes, because the question is like that. Maybe I discussed for the correlates is just once time. Discuss it means I with somebody else or I with my professors. But when I think it's more many times I talk about this one. Correlates. I use correlates because it refers to factor that is related to something, to the dependent variables. And I cannot use a related factor or something like that because I used one sort, so I cannot know the effect, which is the effect and which is the cause. So I use correlates. Correlate is mean I just need the factor that is have the correlations related. This is the answer. And for the second sample distribution, yes, it is for the grade and BMI. Actually, I did not use chi-square analysis by cross-step, but I used binary logistic, unadjusted binary logistic. So one factor and one independent factor 1 and dependent factor 1. So it's unadjusted binary logistic. When I use just two categorical 2 by 2 table, the result of the unadjusted binary logistic is the same with the using cross step of chi-square analysis. Yes, actually I do not need to put chi-square here, but another name, maybe POR, odds ratio. But it is the same. You can try it.
What? Could you repeat what kind of
binary logistic regression?
Binary.
Unadjusted, 1 by 1 factor. The result it will be the same in the cross step using chi-square using cross tabulation 2 by 2 table.
But actually, binary logistic regression is you use in the multivariable analysis.
They have two logistic regression, binomial or we can multivariate variables. I can use binomials. Binomial for this, like this one. I use this is for using binary logistic regression with several factors of independent factors. But when I just use maybe suicide ideation 1 as independent, and the covariate is the maybe BMI. So 1 dependent, 1 independent. It can be used by using binary logistic regression. And the same, it will be the same with the cross tabulation. When we calculate odds ratio, we can try it. When I have my notebook here, I can show you the same. It will be the result will be the same. Because cross tab is a kind of 2 by 2 table, and this can dummy variable, right? Just yes and no. For this binary logistic, binary is the same also dichotomous variable, yes and no. So they're the same. Thank you. And for the second and the last question is about the order, the arrangement. So it is just about the order, because I just want to show you not underweight as the first, just the order in the BMI. As we can show that the lowest one is underweight, and then the higher is normal, and then the higher one is overweight. When I put it normal and the first one, so it will be confused also for the reader to read the analysis. But for the analysis itself, yes, I use the last as the reference.
No, you use the first maybe. Here.
Oh yeah, I use the first as the normal weight as the reference. The normal weight, when I code it normal as 0, underweight as 1, and overweight as 2. And I use the first, so the normal weight with the code of 0, it will be the reference or the baseline. And I put it not wrong in here, because I did not copy the output of the SPSS directly to the paper, but I made the table it by myself. So I just put just put the result of the output analysis, and I retype again in my paper. So it is just about the sequence or the order.
But actually, this is automatically you can put your table. You can find your table as a order. So we don't need to change the order BMI, for example, because from the beginning you have choose the coding.
Yes.
Yeah?
But the coding I put normal as the lowest one, normal, not the underweight. Normal as the lowest, because when we would like to compare something, is it the BMI, the fatty one, I'm fatty now, and the very skinny one, maybe skinny, and the normal ones. When we would like to compare something to some healthy, we have to compare something unhealthy to the healthy one. So I use the healthy as the baseline or the reference, the normal weight as the baseline, not the underweight. It is not the.
But I think you can compare here between overweight. For example, if underweight is a reference, overweight compare with underweight, for example, or normal compare with underweight.
Yes, but for the binary logistic, we cannot compare like the ANOVA. We can compare maybe permutation and combination, but when for the binary logistic, we just can compare something with just one. So I compare the underlay to the normal weight, and for the overweight, compare to the normal weight.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for your suggestions. It's very useful for my improvement, because it is the preliminary research. Actually, there are too many results in this research. It's very complex. That's why I need suggestion and advice for my friends here to improve my research.
Okay, so is there any suggestion or feedback?
Please give me one more. Critic is very important for me. Yes.
Sorry, I want to ask and
your name.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
My
wabarakatuh.
name is Evidianti from University of Indonesia. Actually, I want to know that your purpose is to investigate, right?
Yes.
Yes. I want to know what's the best solutions for your research to apply in Taiwan and China, especially in Taiwan. And the second question is about the smoking activity in China, especially. How's laws governments in Taiwan, especially to for smoking in Taiwan until smoking activity can
Very low,
can be factor to suicide in Taiwan.
Okay. The first question about the applications of maybe the policy, because in this research I just investigated like from the mental, psychology, like that loneliness, sadness and hopeless, and insomnia. Is it from the psychological? So and it is in the student in the senior high school, senior middle school. So the suggestion from this research is provide the counseling in Indonesia, maybe PP in Indonesia is a counseling in the school. Teacher as a counselor in the PP in Indonesia. Counselor in the school, and this is one of the suggestions, because the psychological factor is very high related and effect of the suicide. And for the last for the smoking in Taiwan, maybe as you can see here, maybe you cannot smoke inside of the formal institution like the university. You can see here many logo here. Smoke will be punished by 10,000 NT dollar, Taiwan dollars. So the policy here and the application of the policy also, it applied its work, not just for the law. So the students out here, they prefer to obey the law or the regulation of the school. And also the tax of the tobacco here is higher compared with others. Tax of the tobacco. So you will find here is the smoke or the cigarette is expensive here in Taiwan. And actually, your question is the opposite. From this finding, the smoker in Taiwan, they have lower risk
to develop suicide behavior. And the China is the opposite. The higher smoker, higher dose of smoker, higher risk of suicide behavior. So it is the finding, unique finding maybe. We need to further investigations. What is the difference and what is the effect and what is the cause of this phenomenon? Thank you. Yes. Yes, it's okay. Last presentation. Yes. Next.
Is the counselor teacher, there are has been in the Taiwan, or maybe is it effective to apply in Taiwan?
For these questions, I did not investigate further for the policy or from the applications. So it is just the finding, and I just suggest or recommend of kind of policy or kind of the like that regulation for suggestion for the school. But for the actual now, is it effective or not? We need further investigation or further research. Maybe somebody else here, they would like to, there is a psychology student here, would like to do this research to investigate the psychological teacher in the school. It's okay. So it is just one of our suggestion, recommendation. Yes.
Yeah.
Surely.
Last time. Last question.
You promise?
Yeah. Still in your title. Let's
title again. Okay,
yeah.
Come back. Yes, it's good.
You can try to divide your title, become two titles, for example.
Okay. Would you like to say?
For example, prevalence of suicide behavior, blah blah blah. And the second is, if I use this word. Correlate of suicide behavior. What correlates? The question is raised.
That's why we need to find what correlates in this result.
What correlates?
Yes. So the result is the correlate.
I mean, your title is not answer.
Okay.
Answer our what we want to know.
Okay.
Because the title should be reflects the the content. Okay, and the other, could you show the last table?
Last table?
Yeah.
Okay,
here.
I'm sure that you will ask about this table.
I'm just
not this one?
Before.
This is second last.
I'm interested with your result when I see in the last. So, what your idea?
Yes.
If I'm smoking.
Yes.
But the suicide behavior is smoking means here will reduce the smoking will reduce the suicide behavior.
I cannot say like that because it's one sound. Maybe the suicide behavior make one be smoker.
Oh, I mean here because based on the result.
Okay.
You can see this is mean the reduce the.
You cannot say the
suicide
reduce.
behavior.
Okay. Yes, we can say
lower.
Like that. Yes.
And the other is, for example, overweight.
Yes.
Yeah. Overweight and underweight compare with normal weight mean the reduce still in reduce
in the underweight.
You are in the lower risk for suicide.
Which one, smoker or underweight?
I just make a joke.
Okay.
Could you suggest if we become overweight people, for example, because based on this result. Yes. Because people with overweight situation will be reduce in the
not overweight
lower.
but underweight.
Yeah, underweight.
Underweight.
Yes.
The lower overweight
Similar.
is higher, more than one.
Oh, sorry.
The underweight.
Yeah, underweight. Yeah,
yes.
underweight.
But it's not significant different.
Sorry.
But it's not significant different.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm sorry. I'm not see. No.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So actually, last
sentence, please. Actually, before this, I will go to you and I will ask your recommendation for my title. Which one is best?
Yeah, okay.
I will come to you. It's last.
The last one.
Yes.
I'll probably the last one.
Yes.
Okay. China is a big island more than Taiwan.
Surely, we know all.
Okay, thank you. So what do you mean it is effective to compare to for the slices because the community is different?
That's why I divide China into 4 cities. Wait.
I think you can discuss after the presentation.
Surely, you.
Yes, so we can close. Thank you very much. I think it's a very interesting kind of